Welcome back to the Goo Gallery. Today's topic is emotional expression in painting. In other words, getting all the locked up feelings onto your canvases. Abstract art is sometimes the artist's emotional download, and sometimes it's meant to provoke emotions in the audience. Either way, for those who don't understand abstract art, this is a new way to appreciate it. When the National Gallery of Canada purchased the painting called Voice of Fire, it was a controversial purchase. It cost $1.8 million in 1989, a huge sum of money. This piece illustrates beautifully how art can evoke emotion. A slew of angry people painted plywood in their garages and backyards in the same thing and offered it for a 50% discount for their mocked version. When that happened, I knew I just had to see this painting in person. Almost 30 years later, I finally did. This painting is huge. You get a sense of the scale by looking at the sign to the right of the painting. Can you see it? That's eye level in the gallery. Standing in front of this painting is quite amazing. There's absolutely nothing complex about this piece of art. Yet when you stand in front of it and allow yourself to feel whatever you feel, the colors and the scale are so overwhelming. Perhaps waiting 30 years to see the piece in person was like a long overdue exhale for me. My own abstract work is often an expression of emotions that I struggle to speak out loud. The pieces of my own work which are the most impactful are those which I created during intense emotional states. I often refer to those as my pure emotion paintings. This piece here reflects a moment in my life when I was having trouble expressing frustration around my professional life. I simply could not vocalize how angry I was without feeling that I was going to be punished if I said it out loud. I used painting to put on canvas the emotions that I was feeling. The finished piece loses some of the raw color while still retaining a wild expressive shape. Beyond the painting, I had finally come to a resolution about my frustration and anger. In the final piece, the change that is shown is that I had finally told somebody I trusted how I felt. My own voice of fire came through. The artwork then moved from a simmering, unexpressed emotional explosion into a more muted and controlled representation of the change that had occurred inside of myself. It still expresses the burning feelings without all of the overwhelming lack of control in the colors. What do you feel looking at this painting? This is yet another unanswered expression of my emotions. And you might be noticing that color themes are starting to emerge in the collection of my pieces. And that was a beautiful accident. The blue represents my ability to say what is bothering me, while the red represents untamed emotions which show up in my paintings as a burning color field. This painting illustrates the emergence of my own voice through the raw red flame of emotions. This artwork inverts the color scheme. Here, the blue surrounds the red color structure, suggesting that my voice is formed around the emotions. You will note that the expression is shaped much more feminine than some other works I've shown. This demonstrates the control that I was developing emotionally and the way that I had converted my frustration into a strong womanly voice. Art was imitating my life beautifully. It's always interesting to compare the interpretation of the artist with the observers. The Voice of Fire was created for the U.S. Pavilion of the 1967 Expo in Montreal. It was intended to be viewed from a short distance, inviting the viewer to test their sensory experience as they looked upon it. Voice of Fire is now estimated to be worth in excess of $40 million. Not a bad return for a painting so mocked and vilified. I guess we should not make fun of art we don't understand. As you look upon the pieces I've shared, you can compare what you experienced with what I expressed in their creation. And that's the beauty of art. So remember, your masterpiece is still inside of you.